everyone. I'm Donna Madden, author, book lover, and your host of Books, Banter, and Beyond, the podcast for everyone who believes in the power of stories, the people who create them, and the communities that celebrate them. Whether you're a reader, a writer, or someone who just loves everything bookish, this is your space. Welcome. Today on my interview, I am talking with Emily Hensley of Small Fry Marketing. Emily, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am great. I'm enjoying my summer. So, Emily, before we get started, tell us something about you.
Tell us something about you. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee with my wife and our 5 fur babies. And I love to read. I am actually working on my first book as well, so that's taken a lot of my time. But I'm passionate about small business, which is why my business is called Small Fry Marketing. So that's a little bit.
Wonderful. I guess we need to be very honest with everyone, and we know each other,
Yes.
right? And that's why I have you on my show as my first interviewee. You are my marketing and cover design person. You're the person I go to for all things, and we talk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said and that out there, and everyone knows, tell us what made you specifically choose to work in the book world.
Well, I didn't really choose. It just kind of happened by accident. So I have worked for a multitude of years, marketing all sorts of products and businesses, virtually every industry you could possibly name. And then I was late to the TikTok game and I got on there because I heard this word book talk and I had to check it out. And so I started playing on there and found the book talk community and really by accident ended up getting a lot of interest from authors for me to help them market their books. And that was about 3 years ago. So I'm still fairly new to marketing books, but I have learned a tremendous amount. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of writing an indie author marketing guide that I hope to have available by the end of this year, maybe by fall. We'll see how time permits. But yeah, so I ended up also meeting a gal on TikTok, and we started our own book club, and that's at thecovergirlsbookclub.com. We have a whole lot of fun over there. But yeah, now I would say that probably 80% of my clients are authors now from nonfiction and fiction.
Okay, well, you said that you found authors, 80% of your clients, by accident. What were you doing before you found authors?
Well, like I said, I was working with other industries. So I have all sorts of clients from landscapers to medical clinics to lawyers to Maine Coon cat breeders. And so, yes, just lots and lots of other clients. And some of those were not long-term clients. They might be somebody that just wanted a website or somebody that just wanted me to work on their social media, or it might be someone who wanted me to redesign a website. So I've kind of backed off on doing some of that kind of stuff as those clients cycled out and started really making a strategic focus on authors, indie authors in particular.
Okay. So, as an indie author myself, I know that I found you because I was overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do on a daily basis. And all I want to do is write my book and write my emails, and that's all I know how to do. What can you do? Walk us through what you actually do, or what you can do, or what you offer to do for indie authors.
So literally everything. So my undergrad is in marketing and my MBA is also in marketing. And so I do everything from planning out an annual marketing plan to marketing consulting, to book covers. I do formatting. I do literally everything: social media, newsletter marketing, email marketing, all the things. If you, all the graphic design you can imagine. And so I'm kind of a one-stop shop, I guess, for everything. And so since I got into the author world, my team has expanded dramatically. And so I have a hand illustrator, I have other people who do formatting, I have proofreaders, I have editors, I have photographers, videographers. So we really have expanded so that we can offer affordable solutions to indie authors because I know that that's a struggle for a lot of them.
That is true because especially when you're just starting out and just writing, editing, proofreading, all that, every penny matters.
Hmm.
So, how is marketing a book different from marketing anything else? What
I would,
tips can you give, I guess?
well, I think that it's a totally different animal. You know, my history is in corporate marketing. I did that for 20 years before I started my business, and it was business to business marketing. And then, of course, you have retail outlets or whatever that are business to consumer. But the problem is it's not a problem, but the challenge is a consumption problem. So if you go to a shirt, go to buy a shirt, you go to your favorite place and you try on a shirt, you love how it looks, you're pleased with it, you buy it, you go home and you use it. With a book, you're having to convince someone to invest 6 to 15 hours into your product. You know, even when you go and buy a car, you look at them, they're pretty, you shop around, you make the decision, you pay the money, and it's over. And you get to enjoy it for a long period of time. So then, you have to identify, the demographic and with the particular genre and all of those things. So it's really about making sure too that the author is the brand and really getting people to invest in that part of it. But it is, it's you have to match up with what people's tastes are. So really that's the biggest difference.
Okay, that was interesting. I've never saw it that way, and I've been working with you for almost a year now. And you
We're
just said
over a
that,
year now. We're over a year now.
oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay, well, there you go, over a year. But you just said that people are going to be using my book or reading my book 6 to 15 hours, depending, could be more, could be less. And I've never seen it that way. They're going to be investing in something that an indie author writes and makes for 6 to 15 hours. And then you said, so the authors have to realize they're the brand. And I know you've talked to me about this so much, and I never really understood it, I think, until just now. Because they're not buying just a book, because one book won't make me, won't make any indie author a career. So they have to, the author brand is buying into me as the author. So that way they'll want to read more of what I write. Is that what
Yeah.
you mean by that? Am I finally getting it?
Yes, you are. And then what comes with that is, especially if they love your book, they're going to buy the next one. They're going to read No One But You, and then I've got them out of order. And then they're going to go to No Love Like Yours and No Place Like Home, and then No Heart But Yours. And they're going to go in order. And that creates that consistency and that brand loyalty. So they're not only because you have another series up there, the More Than Enough series. So you've got all of those that is a separate series. So when they finish one series, they're invested in you as an author and they go, I'm willing to invest those hours into reading something because I already know I like it. Just like the shirt. I put it on, I know I like it. If they have multiple colors, I'm probably going to buy multiple colors. If they like you, they're going to buy multiple colors.
I like that you said brand loyalty. Again, you used a term that made total sense to me because I think of what things do I use on a daily basis because of the brand.
Yeah, there's certain
You know,
things for me. Like I will buy, store brand paper plates, or I will buy store brand whatever. But when it comes to my peanut butter, I want Jif extra crunchy peanut butter. I don't want Peter Pan.
Extra crunchy.
Yes.
Come on. Jif natural creamy is where it's at.
I don't want Jif. I mean, I don't want Peter Pan. A Peter Pan. I don't want, any of those
Maybe
others.
all those, yeah.
Yes. So I have to have certain things that I'm not going to compromise on. And so if I'm in love with Donna Madden's or Linda Valley series and somebody comes out with a new series and I try their first one and I don't like it, I'm going to go back to my brand loyalty.
You finally made that make sense. You really did. Because it's like there's restaurants I'll go to because I see what I know. We can travel all over the country. You know what McDonald's is going to give you. You know what you're going to get at Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a coffee, you know where to go. If you want a donut, you know where to go. I like that. If you want steamy small town Banter of lots of family fun and just all the things, you know to go to Orlando Valley. You will get that from me.
You will get it every time. And you have set that expectation that someone's going into that new book excited because they know already that they're going to like it.
See, I have talked to you a lot over the past year, and you just explained to me what the heck you meant by
I think I've explained it before, but maybe not just like that. So I think I found
right.
the key for the lock. Yeah.
There you go. Now it makes total sense. Total sense. Okay. So I think everyone can get the importance of branding. Now let's talk about what is the most important thing an author can do for their business, in your opinion.
The most important thing that an indie author can do is understand that this is a journey. It is not a sprint. This is a long game, a long game. As a matter of fact, I had a client recently that we worked together for 4 months and he wondered why he wasn't a bestseller yet. Well, he did reach bestseller status on Amazon one time, but you're not going to make unless you just there's always an exception. You're not going to make $10,000 a month starting out. You have to have a good product with a good cover and a good marketing plan and a good social media plan. If you just kind of throw ideas out there and see what sticks, it is never going to work. But you even working with a marketer, it takes time to build up that momentum, but it's always the second most important thing is it's about consistency. You have to be consistent. You cannot send out one email a week for 6 weeks and then start sending out one email every third week or every month or every 6 weeks. You've just broken your consistency. You have to be posting every single day. I don't care what anybody says to you. I don't care what anybody says about weekends are not good. I don't care. Post every single day, something. And so it's about understanding it's a long game, consistency, consistency, consistency.
Okay. Now let's talk about the book covers. I think we've all heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, that you will judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
People say that, but your cover is your label of professionalism. When someone looks at your cover, they're going to immediately decide how professional you are, what to expect from your writing. They're going to they're going to pass you by on Amazon if it doesn't look good. Not only does it have to look good on the book, it has to look good on a thumbnail size image. So when I see covers that are clearly made by the author, and I'm not downing that. You know, some people have to do that, but let me give you some tips. These wild fonts that you cannot even, it's like, is that a 2 or is that a Z or is that an S? You cannot read it. And then you've got multiple graphics and you got a background image that, and then somebody's face in the foreground, and all of these, you're trying to do too much. Less is more on a cover. It needs to be clean. It needs to read well. If you can't even read the cover, why would you want to read the book? So it absolutely, a weak cover will cost you clicks. If you have ads, you're going to be compared to other authors in your genre. And if I'm looking at one book and the other book, and this one looks like it was made by a first grade project, and this one is professional, guess what book I'm going to pick? It's the hard truth. And it's unfortunate because there are so many amazing authors out there that they're not designers. Authors should be writing, like you said. Let the
Mhm.
marketer handle that for you. And we try to, I always want to go with your vision. When we did the no or the Linda Valley series, we you gave me, this is what I want, this is my vision, make it happen. But then sometimes I've come to you and said, this does not look good. I
Mhm.
don't recommend this at all. And we go back and forth, and the author has to trust the designer.
Well, and like this weekend, because we're designing book 5, you come up with colors I would never choose, because I always say I don't like pink, I don't like purple.
You're a primary girl.
Yes, I am, and neutrals, and like you came up with a color for book 5, and I was like, my words were what? Impress me.
Yeah. You
You
said,
know,
if you can make it look good, I guess.
yes, but I didn't like what was on the book, but I liked the color, so I gave you my idea for a part of it, and together
It's it's
it's
probably my
beautiful.
favorite. I
I
cannot wait until book 5 comes out. It is
I
probably my
know
favorite cover of the
it's
whole
so pretty.
series. It's gorgeous.
It is so
Yeah.
pretty. It is so pretty. But that's what I like about working with you. You listen, but yet you also do, because you know that I don't know. I don't know. I know what I want, but trying to get it out. And you've been very, very helpful with that. So, since we're talking about covers, I'm looking at all my questions, making sure, because I know we're not in order anymore. Um, what's the difference between an author who sells well and one with an equally good book who struggles? What do you think? We have the same book in both author. What could be the difference between selling well and not selling well? We've talked about all these marketing things.
So it's an uncomfortable question for authors,
Mm-hmm.
but it's probably the most important. So successful authors understand that writing a book is basically half of the job and maybe even less. You internalize this book and you're bringing it to market and making decisions accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And so struggling authors are making decisions emotionally or reactionary, whether rather than being very focused and strategic. So number one, you've got to choose a viable market. If you're choosing to write in a genre that hasn't been written about in 25 years or has very, very little sales, expect very little sales. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we all know that the romance market is super, super saturated. It's the number one genre across all books. So there's a huge amount of competition. But that's okay. Don't be afraid to get in the competition. Some authors might think, oh, I'll write in that genre that doesn't have many sales because it'll be easier to be a bestseller. And in
Hmm.
some cases, that might work because there are a zillion books on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all that. So I think it's just important that they build a system, not a campaign. So you would build a campaign inside of a system. So you've got your system, you've got your marketing plan like you and I do. You've got your annual marketing plan laid out. And then you're going to be very strategic about the campaigns inside that marketing plan. And so the authors that are successful are creating that plan, they're creating their campaigns around it. They are not too overly sensitive to negative analytics. You know, you might send out 3 or 4 emails in a row and hardly anybody's clicking on it. But you've got emails in the past where you're everybody's clicking on it. It's just a
Hmm.
trial and error. And so a lot of authors will say, well, that's not working, so I'm just not going to do it anymore. Huge mistake. Absolutely a huge mistake. It goes back to that consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to build the car in order to drive the car. So, in a car, if you didn't have any wheels on it, it's not going to go anywhere. If you don't have a motor on it, you could push it, but you're not really going to get anywhere. So, all of these systems have to be in place. And that is the difference between the authors that are not successful and the authors that are.
Now, you said something that made me think of, I've always heard it takes people 7 times of seeing something, or especially on social media, 7, 10, I don't know, it's a whole bunch of times
Hmm.
before they remember to click on it.
Yes.
So if we're not consistent and we're not totally always throwing our books in people's faces, they're not going to remember to click it. Is that sort of what you're saying?
Yes, because here's a good example. So, and I just thought of this, and hope it makes sense. I'm all about
I'll let you
analogy.
know. I'll let you know.
So, when we are watching Hulu sometimes,
Hmm.
or not Netflix, but those YouTube TV or whatever, where they still have commercials,
Right.
we will watch it, and it's like, okay, this prescription for whatever comes up, and it's like you're watching it, and you're like, okay, cool. Well, then the second commercial is the same commercial. And then the next time there's a commercial break, it plays again.
Yeah.
And it might be pizza. Let's say it's pizza. You know, oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. Why are they still advertising this? But that looks good. Oh, I'm seeing this again. Oh, they have a special. I think I'm going to buy it. It's the same
Hmm.
thing. And that is so true. If somebody sees one little thing, a blip on the screen, that's all you are, is a blip on the screen if you are not being consistent.
Again, that makes the, okay. That's good. All those times you have yelled at me about being consistent on my social media account, you just made sense again. I should have done this a long time ago. This is awesome. I love it. Okay. Um, at what point, this is a good one. At what point in the writing or publishing process should an author bring in a marketing or cover designer? Do you do you think? If you want to talk about them separately, go for it. Marketing and cover design. At what point should an author bring them in?
So we're going to make the assumption in this that the marketer is separate from the designer,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not.
Right.
But I have to explain it this way. Your cover designer needs to be brought in probably at least 90 to 120 days before you're going to launch. Because if you're not doing a 3 to 4 month promotion for your book, your pre order, getting people excited about it, here's what I'm writing. If when I first started working with authors, I was really sensitive about them sharing their covers too early. Now you can do cover reveal and all that so that it kind of comes out in pieces, right? But that needs to be done well in time to start your book launch campaign. Your marketer needs to be brought in very soon. Very, very soon. If you have an outline and you're dedicated to this and you are committed to writing this book, now that doesn't mean that you need to enter into a marketing contract and pay somebody monthly. It might take you a year to write the book, but find someone and just maybe do a monthly touch point, just like consulting. It's very, very inexpensive just for somebody to bounce things off of me, and I can give them ideas. I can point them in the right direction on some of the things that they need. And just having that person to just kind of walk through the journey with you and to just say, hey, Emily, you know, do you prefer pro writing aid or do you prefer autocrit? And I can give you my opinion on each one of those. And that might really make a difference. If you know, Emily, if am I should I make this cover with just pictures, or should I do it with, maybe graphics? Do I want, and a lot of that has to do with the book content, but at least create a relationship with a marketer and say, hey, I want to use you, get prices or whatever. I am not going to strong arm anybody into doing something but before they're ready to do it.
Okay. I totally heard what you just said, but now I'm going to be the indie author who just started out, probably is working a second job anyway to help their family, but has this passion they've always wanted to do. That's where I was 3 years ago. My first book, all of a sudden I'm writing this book and I hear I need an editor and a copy editor and a proofreader. And now I need this cover person. And now it's like one after another, and money is limited. If they could only do one thing, what do you suggest they do?
To start out,
Yes.
consulting.
Consulting.
Having me consult with them one time a month or twice a month, or that's a time thing. Some people want to get a book out in 4 or 5 months. Some people know that they've got 4 kids and they're all in soccer and they work a full-time job. It might take them a year, 18 months. But we can set a schedule and say, okay, where are you now? Let's Let me make you a list of the things that you need to consider. Do not worry about them right now, because indie authors, like you said, they're getting, you need this, you need this, you need this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people trying to market themselves on social media, and they're like, you have to do it this way, you can't do it that way. And that's BS, because there's a lot of different ways to do things. It's not a cookie cutter approach to each single person. So you write books relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I have been writing my first book for over a year. It just, I work a lot. So
Right, you do.
I work a lot. So I think that probably consulting, just talk to me. And I don't charge people
Interesting.
to just email me and ask me my opinion on something. If you want to start consulting every week, it's a very minimal charge. And just for somebody to ease your mind and say, don't worry about everything at one time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You do
Mm-hmm.
not need to eat the whole elephant.
I like that, because back when I started, I was in a coaching class or something, and it was a money suck, is what it was. And the first book I put out, I've changed the cover now 3 times in 3 years. That's a lot. But that's why I was a little surprised you didn't say, if they can only spend the money on one thing, they got to spend the money on a good cover designer.
Because you don't need that till later. If they're just starting out and all they
Okay.
have is an outline of a book, we don't need to be doing a cover, because that book could change 45 times before you get writing and you think going in this direction, and all of a sudden the characters take you in this direction, and that's going to affect your cover. Maybe you want to change the location completely. Maybe you don't want it to be in Tennessee. Maybe you decide this is turning out a little bit more modern that you thought, and so we're going to go to Atlanta. You know, everything could impact that cover. And if you start trying to design a cover too soon, I've seen authors who want a cover before they write the book. Why? What
Right.
that's like it just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, don't worry about the cover until later. It's not something that you need to put money in before you even start because what'll happen is a lot of these cover designers, they'll charge you an arm and a leg for a cover and then you want it changed and they're going to charge you for every change they make
Mm-hmm.
rather
Yep.
than just being committed to you and walk through it together. Um, so I don't do that. I don't charge for changes. I mean, unless somebody completely wants a redo after the fact that it's been finalized, there might be a little bit there, but don't worry about that right now. Just talk to a marketer and create that relationship.
Okay, so someone is starting to write their first draft. They come across this podcast, they hear you say that, which will probably be like, oh, wait, that's interesting. You have an author come to you. What is something you want for them to bring to you when they reach out to you the first time? What do you want them to have? A brand new author,
An idea.
an idea. And then, okay, so they bring you an idea and they're writing this idea. What is your job at that point?
To understand their voice, their brand voice, and start to develop their brand. Because if they start developing their brand in the beginning, then it's going to strengthen it as they grow. So especially like in your newsletter voice, I've got you who's very upbeat and exciting, and we use exclamation points and it's fun. And then I have another author who is very much more reserved and quiet. She's not pushy. She asks for book sales in a
Are you
button.
saying I'm pushy? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at
That's
all.
what I just heard.
No, but some people are more direct. Buy my
Right.
book. Other people are like, if you're interested in my book, click here. It's a different voice, and people invest in that voice. You know, going back to the beginning, if people have invested in your brand, they know what to expect. If they're reading your newsletters, they know what to expect. If they're reading this other author's newsletters and they're coming across very calm and reserved you know, and then all of a sudden we come in with a newsletter that says, buy my book, they're going to go, whoa, that's not what I signed up for.
Right.
So building that
Okay.
brand, building the brand.
And so as someone who I've only been doing this for 3 years and I'm hearing this from you, I came into it totally different, with a different theory. I need to have my book. I need to have it out. I need to get it out, get it out, get it out. Do you feel that if authors would slow down a little bit and build their brand and know their voice while they're building their following, when their book comes out, it'll be more successful?
Yes.
Because people know what they're expecting instead of this stranger
Yes.
throwing a book out into the world.
Yes, absolutely. And you should start building your email address now. I mean, your email list
Mm-hmm.
right this minute. Your email list is your single most important asset as an author. The absolute number one thing you have is a strong email list. So let me make you an example. So authors that are making about $10,000 a month, they have about 20,000 newsletter subscribers. So now don't let that
Wow.
scare you. It's going to take time to build, but you remember when the TikTok fiasco went on and
Yeah.
it
Oh,
got
yeah.
shut down.
Yeah.
Let's assume that the World Wide Web is hacked and all of social media goes down. How do you get in touch with your customers? The
Your
email
email list is all you have
because you
left. Yeah.
own them. You don't own anybody on that's a TikTok follower because they can unfollow you with a click, and you can have unsubscribers on your newsletter list. But
Hmm.
the more names you own, the more apt you are to see long-term success.
I love that. And so I think you basically answered my next question. What do you wish every indie author understood before publishing their first book?
Again, it's a long game.
Hmm.
It's a I need you indie authors to understand that you also can't just set it and forget it. You have to be willing to fall down 10 times and stand up once, or, whatever that saying is. I'm forgetting right now. You have to be willing to accept failure. And when I did sales back in a previous life, for me, I got excited about no's because that pushed me towards the next yes.
Right.
Yes,
You
I
hear
would
that a
like to
lot.
have yeses out of the gate, but if my yes is here and I get a no, and I get another no, and I get another no, it's coming. It's
Hmm.
going to come. But authors do not put in the commitment that they need to, the ones that are not successful. They have not fully committed to this. If this is just going to be a hobby for you, fantastic. Treat it like a hobby. But if you want to be a best-selling author and make it to the big game, you have to be consistent. I can't say to you, okay, Donna, here's our annual marketing plan. I see you've decided to start a podcast on your own. This is something we've done. What are we going to do with this? How often are you going to have a podcast? What are you going to talk about? Who are you going to talk to? So we had that conversation
Hmm.
and we talked it all through. And guess what you did? You did what
I
I
did it.
told you to do.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's not like I'm telling you everything you need to do, but we're creating that structure and you're sticking to it. You probably stick to it better than anybody I work with. And I love all my authors, and a lot of them are very, very, very consistent, but you get it. And so I hope that future listeners will look at you kind of as a thought leader in this space because you've done everything until you figured it out before you met me. You
Yeah.
just tried and tried and tried again, and you didn't take failure as an option. And
Right.
so
Well,
I, uh
my boys used to be in karate, and their sensei always said, "You never fail until you quit trying."
hmm yes, that's
And
exactly right.
that's how I'm trying to see it. You
hmm
know, I only fail when I quit.
And look at your numbers this month. Oh my God, we're 8 days into this month,
Great.
and your KU reads are skyrocketing. And
Yeah.
we've been working together for a year. And it's like,
Hmm.
and obviously you're a teacher, so you work during the year. And in the summers, we hammer it out, hammer, hammer,
Hmm.
hammer, hammer. And so you're going to be consistent during the summer. You're going to be consistent in a different way during the school
During the school
year, but
year.
you're still going to be consistent.
Yes. Well, and it's honestly, it's helping because I have you to hold me accountable. Because you're different than my husband or my kids or my sister-in-law who hold me accountable, but they have no clue what's involved, you know, and they just want me to write that next book and get the next book out. My boys
Mm-hmm.
would prefer me to change genres, but that's okay. And but you're there and you're able to help me stay focused on what I need to do. And that's why I started talking to you and hiring you. So, one last question. What is the most rewarding part of helping an indie author succeed?
You know,
Or we can take off that succeed. What's the most rewarding part for you for of helping indie authors?
just seeing the growth and the success. I literally get emotional talking about it sometimes. You and I have had this conversation. I am so invested in every author I work with. Like, my whole heart is in that project with you. So when I see $1 royalties starting out, I get chills. I get so excited. And then I hear the excitement in their voice. And, some of them cry, I sold 10 books. Can you believe I sold 10 books? It's just so rewarding for me in an emotional way. Um, so I would say that's it.
I love it. I love it. Is there anyone that you want to let any of the listeners out there know? Of course, where can they find you? What can you do for them? And go ahead and plug your business real quick.
So my business is Small Fry Marketing, which you can find on the internet at smallfrymarketing.com. And I just launched a sister company, Small Fry Publishing. That website's not done yet, but that is the URL, smallfrypublishing.com. And so I'm actually working with authors to publish their books now too. So, like I said, if you need anything marketing or graphic wise, there's literally, I can't think of anything I can't do for them. So
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, Emily, thank you for talking with me. And in my
thank you
first
for having
episode
me. Thank
of
you
Books,
for
Banter,
having
and
me.
Beyond, it was fun.
Yeah.
And everyone out there, come on back next week and have a wonderful time.
Thank
Happy
you.
reading.
All right.